if you're not really a church person, if you got kind of a bad experience with Christian people, I wonder, I know there are a lot of things that keep people away from church, but I wonder if it's because you were part of a religion that didn't specialize in the gospel. You see, there's two teachings in the Bible, the law and the gospel. They're both good teachings, but church is bad when it only preaches the law and not the gospel. When all you hear are the do's and don'ts. You shouldn't live like this. You shouldn't talk like that. Make sure you give this much. Like if that's all you hear, eventually you rebel against it. You realize I can't do all that stuff. I don't even know if I want to do all that stuff. Why would I do that stuff? Which is why Jesus says, don't just preach the law, preach the gospel. And the gospel is the good news about all the things that Jesus did for you. The fact that he knew that you would break the law, that I would struggle to love everyone in my life as much as I should, that all of us would try to replace God with something as the first thing in our life, the sun at the center of our solar system. He knew we would struggle and mess up 1,000,000 times. And so the gospel is that God himself came down from heaven. And every single day of his life, Jesus, who is God, he lived perfectly and he loved everyone. And when he died on the cross, he made an incredible trade with you. Like everything messed up you've ever done, everything you think like God is going to judge you for, Jesus took it all to a cross and he died to pay the entire debt. But not just that. He didn't just send you back into God's presence with a blank spiritual bank account. Instead, he gave everything good he ever did. The Bible says it's like Jesus wraps us with this perfect garment, this stainless outfit, so that when we walk into God's presence, we're not stained and flawed and dirty. We're beautiful and we're perfect. And he rose from the dead to prove that that's true. And if a Christian has never told you that, I'm sorry. If you were raised by Christians and you've worked with Christians and played sports with Christians and no one has ever told you that Christianity is about that, it's about the gospel, about a God who loves us when we don't deserve it, a God who did what we couldn't so that we could end up in a place that we wouldn't have without him. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you're hearing it today. And I hope you know that this is why Jesus is the greatest thing in the world. There are 1,000,000 philosophies, there are countless religions, but there's this Jesus, and he is unlike any other.